Marvel Studios has always been known for blending practical effects with groundbreaking CGI to craft their cinematic universes, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is no exception. From intense battle sequences to the creation of entirely new worlds, the film's behind-the-scenes magic reveals how much effort went into crafting this cosmic adventure. Let's dive into some of the most iconic scenes that were brought to life. The behind-the-scenes journey begins with one of the film's most thrilling moments, the explosive battle between Nebula and Gamora on Ego's mysterious planet. In this action-packed sequence, Nebula descends from the sky in her spaceship, determined to eliminate Gamora, and immediately opens fire. But, as with most Marvel productions, what you see on screen is far from reality. For this battle sequence, the production team constructed a scaled-down physical set representing a portion of Ego's planet inside a massive studio. While the final film shows vast alien landscapes, in reality, only a small patch of rocky terrain was built for the actresses to interact with. To simulate the incoming attacks, small practical explosions were rigged directly beneath this fabricated landscape, creating realistic debris blasts captured by the cameras. These carefully controlled detonations provided authentic reactions for the performers while giving visual effects artists real-world elements to enhance later with CGI. As Nebula intensifies her attack, Gamora desperately seeks cover by diving into a crater. Interestingly, this dramatic leap was filmed entirely on a blue screen. Actress Zoe Saldana performed the real stunt herself, landing on safety mats. Later, in post-production, artists replaced the blue environment with a digitally rendered rocky crater, adding layers of dust, shadows, and depth to complete the shot. Even the airships and energy blasts seen during the sequence were pure CGI magic, seamlessly blended into the practical footage. The battle reaches its climax when Gamora, in a daring move, grabs a machine gun directly from Nebula's crashed airship and fires back at her sister. On set, Zoe Saldana was equipped with a specially designed prop mounted on her shoulder to mimic the look and feel of the heavy weapon. Around her, only a minimal section of the terrain was constructed, just enough to ground her movements physically. Meanwhile, Nebula's airship, seen in the background, was represented by a simple dummy model during filming. Later, digital artists meticulously crafted the airship's detailed textures, mechanical parts, and damage effects using CGI. Every bolt and blast mark was digitally designed. The surrounding environment, including the destroyed cave structures, falling debris, and even the eerie sight of human skulls scattered across Ego's terrain, were all computer-generated and added during post-production, completing this visually stunning sequence. In a breathtaking moment of the film, Ego, the living planet, begins expanding his true biological form across distant worlds. Since Star-Lord unlocks his celestial powers, Ego's sinister plan unfolds. Behind the scenes, this sequence was nothing short of a CGI masterclass. Initially, real-world city sets were used, populated with actors reacting in fear to an invisible threat. These sequences were filmed in front of massive blue screens, with actors directed to express terror as if a colossal biological force was devouring their world, even though nothing tangible existed on set. Once filming was complete, digital artists used software like Houdini and Maya to create the creeping blue-black mass representing Ego's spreading form. Every tendril, halt, and spreading wave was carefully animated and blended with the live-action footage, creating the chilling illusion of Ego consuming entire cities. Shadows, reflections, and environmental damage were added frame by frame, ensuring every moment felt disturbingly real. The film opens not with explosions or battles, but with Baby Groot happily dancing amidst chaos, a perfect blend of humor and action. For Groot's dance, an on-set actor provided movement references, performing each quirky step in sync with the music. Later, Animators meticulously crafted Baby Groot using CGI, carefully syncing his dance moves with the actor's performance to ensure Groot's playful personality came through. In contrast, the gigantic obelisks were entirely computer-generated creatures. Every detail, from their glistening skin to the weight of their massive limbs, was digitally created. Animators worked tirelessly to make these beasts feel as lifelike as possible. A particularly jaw-dropping moment occurs when Drax launches himself into an obelisk's mouth, slicing his way out. Though the monster itself was CGI, the scene incorporated practical effects. For the shot where Drax burst out of the creature's throat, a wooden frame covered in translucent plastic simulated the obelisk's interior. Actor Dave Bautista physically tore through this prop on camera. Later, CGI enhancements added gore, lighting, and slimy textures, making this scene even more visceral and believable. Other fight sequences during the obelisk's battle were filmed using blue screens and practical harnesses. Behind-the-scenes footage reveals Zoe Saldana performing fight choreography against empty air with her opponents added digitally in post-production. Each sword swing and combat move was carefully coordinated to sync seamlessly with the CGI creatures later on. Rocket Raccoon, everyone's favorite genetically engineered raccoon, is a marvel, pun intended by the way, of CGI artistry. During filming, a stand-in actor or puppet was often used on set to help the cast visualize Rocket's presence. This reference was critical for ensuring realistic eye lines and interactions between Rocket and the live-action characters. Before animation began, Rocket's entire digital body was meticulously modeled in 3D. Artists created a complex skeletal system, muscle structures, and layers of skin and fur to make Rocket move realistically. From his subtle expressions to the flick of his tail, every detail was digitally crafted to make Rocket feel like a living, breathing member of the Guardians. The film's introduction of the Sovereign People showcases a dazzling futuristic world bathed in gold. To bring this golden realm to life, Marvel built minimal practical sets with blue screens in the studio. Only small platforms and sections of walls and floors were constructed to give actors physical reference points. The rest, including the towering golden structures, reflective surfaces, and ambient lighting, were entirely created through CGI. In post-production, digital artists layered details onto every surface, from the gleaming streets to the glowing architectural patterns. Even the signature golden hue of the Sovereign People was enhanced digitally, making the world feel both regal and otherworldly. One of the film's most unforgettable moments unfolds when Yondu, trapped aboard his own ship by Taserface and the Ravagers, finally unleashes the full power of his iconic Yaka arrow. Using a signature whistle, Yondu commands the arrow to weave through the corridors of the ship, taking down enemies with pinpoint precision. But behind this dazzling sequence lies some surprising filmmaking techniques. For this scene, a portion of the ship's interior was physically constructed inside a studio. The production team built narrow corridors and platform structures surrounded by vast blue screens to allow for environmental extensions in post-production. This gave actors a physical space to move through while performing the scene. As for the star of the moment, the deadly Yaka arrow, it wasn't real, of course. The arrow's swift, fluid movements were entirely created using CGI. Every twist, spin, and impact was carefully animated to match Yondu's whistle cues and the dramatic tone of the scene. From its glowing red trails to its deadly strikes, the arrow was digitally sculpted to become an extension of Yondu himself. Behind-the-scenes footage shows the eerie silence on set as Michael Rooker performed his whistle commands, leaving the rest to the VFX artist to bring alive later. In another epic sequence, the Sovereign's Golden Fleet launches a coordinated drone assault on the Guardians after Rocket brazenly steals their batteries. What audiences see is a thrilling space chase with dozens of Sovereign pilots controlling their drones in unison from futuristic pods. but the reality behind the scenes was much smaller in scale. On set, only a few practical control pods were actually built, and just 3 or 4 performers sat inside them acting out the intense piloting scenes. Using clever camera angles and digital replication, the visual effects team later multiplied these actors into dozens of drone pilots to create the illusion of an entire sovereign army. Meanwhile, the Guardians ship, the Milano, was brought to life using practical effects. A partial mock-up of the ship's cockpit was mounted onto a massive movable gimbal rig. This allowed the set to tilt, shake, and rotate, simulating the chaotic flight movements as the Guardians dodged incoming attacks. Actors inside reacted to every tilt and shake, adding realism to the sequence before visual effects completed the outer space environment in post-production. One of Rocket Raccoon's standout moments comes in the jungle ambush scene, where he outsmarts and defeats an entire squad of Ravagers using mines and traps. At first glance, the dense jungle setting seems like a real outdoor location, but behind the scenes reveals otherwise. This entire action sequence was filmed inside a controlled studio environment. The production crew meticulously built sections of the jungle set using artificial trees, foliage, and rocks, with towering blue screens surrounding the set to allow for digital extensions later. Strategic lighting was used to replicate natural sunlight filtering through the forest canopy. During the scene where Rocket's mines launched the Ravagers into the air, practical effects came into play. The actors portraying the Ravagers were strapped into harness rigs, allowing them to be suddenly yanked upward to simulate explosive blasts. Stunt coordinators practically choreographed each movement, ensuring both safety and cinematic impact. Later, the post-production team layered in CGI enhancements, extending the jungle, adding digital debris, and even animating Rocket himself as he orchestrated the ambush with a signature grin. As the Guardians reach Ego's planet, the tone shifts from action to revelation. Peter Quill learns the truth about his celestial heritage as Ego begins to recount his mysterious past. This entire storytelling sequence takes place within the ornate interiors of Ego's temple, a set piece that blended practical craftsmanship with digital artistry. For filming, the crew built a significant portion of the temple's interior on a soundstage complete with intricate walls, platforms, and lighting setups to convey the ancient, otherworldly aesthetic. Minimal blue screens were strategically placed around the set to extend the environment digitally when needed. Behind the scenes, directors can be seen guiding the cast carefully through the scene. Actors received detailed instructions to interact with the practical elements of the set while visualizing the CGI elements that would be added later, including holographic projections and cosmic visual effects that illustrated Ego's narrative. In the final film, the sequence becomes a mesmerizing blend of practical set design and computer-generated storytelling elements, making Ego's history feel as grand and cosmic as the character himself. And with that, we come to the end of today's behind-the-scenes journey. From blue screens to digital creatures, and from practical sets to stunning CGI, it's incredible to see how much effort goes into creating the magic we see on screen. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the making of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating behind-the-scenes stories. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world of movies.